What's going on, guys? Sean here, and today we're going to be talking about Street Fighter V. It's been a while since I've last talked about Street Fighter V, specifically, of course, Champion Edition. We haven't really heard much from this game, especially regarding to the pandemic and stuff, but other than the Capcom Pro Tour going 100% online at this point, right around June, end of May-ish, so there really hasn't been any other activity other than trying to fix the netcode and stuff like that. So you can say that this has Street Fighter V on a pseudo sort of silence for a bit. Well, right before this all happened, they hinted that they're going to announce some news, and people did not know what to expect. No one really saw this coming. We really thought that this was going to be, you know, the final season for Champion Edition, but out of nowhere, Street Fighter V actually came out and said, hey, we're actually going to come out with, I believe, 5 more characters. Let me just check my notes here. But yes, five more fighters, or should I do this, you know, with the V, 5 more fighters for Season 5 with the V, and also 3 stages. So, wow, I don't know what to say other than I am pretty surprised myself, and I think a lot of people, you know, did not see this coming. While it is, you know, a little hard on the competitor side of things when it comes to like matches and stuff like that, as my casual side kind of would take over for this, I like it. I definitely agree with it. I think it's a little more poetic to end it on Season 5. You know, seeing that this is the 5th Street Fighter, so they gotta be a little gimmicky. So I think I would, you know, I wouldn't disagree to that. So, you know, adding 5 more characters to the roster, so overall we would have, I believe, 45 characters as a whole once this is all completed. And hopefully Season 5 will come out with all the characters at once, so that way, you know, everyone can learn the characters right at the beginning of the year, let's just say, or right at the end of the year, from like right at the end of December, after Capcom Cup is done. They can release all those characters all in one go, and that way people can learn their characters, learn the matchups all the way down through 2021. And I think that would be the appropriate time to have the last Capcom Pro Tour for Street Fighter V, you know, ending it on Season 5. So from a marketing standpoint and the gimmicky stuff like that, I think that's much more appropriate, more poetic. It just sounds like a better send-off than sending it off here, especially with the pandemic going on. I would figure that with the pandemic and stuff like that, they'd have canceled the physical side of Capcom Pro Tour, so they might have had more time and stuff to do something about that. So I guess they put their time into, well, developing these characters. Now, was this all kind of planned out in the first place? Probably, and more likely, right? But I think the pandemic kind of sort of provided even more time and assurance that, you know, there would be a quality control and launch with these characters for Season 5 once it comes out, along with the stages, and I'm assuming more music for it, right? So I think that's cool. I having the, you know, casual side come out, yes, you know, I always love to see more characters, but of course when it comes to the competitor side of things, yeah, it's gonna add a little more to the matchup stuff. But I think overall, though, it is a benefit, as much as some people would like to have it at 40 characters. While yes, that is a respectable number, I just feel like, you know, it's nice to see that more breadth is being put into Street Fighter V, and a little more life has been put into it. I mean, I think I see the good sides of Street Fighter V as much as I have overall mixed feelings for it, but it's not a terrible Street Fighter. You know, it definitely is graphically the nicest looking when it comes to 3D so far, but, you know, I do have my gripes about the visual side of things for some characters. But overall, I think this is a pretty decent Street Fighter for at least the mid-level to casual level when it comes to the playing field of things. Seeing this, you know, a couple, you know, 5 more characters and stuff, again, it's really nice, and because there's a little more breath of life added to the game, maybe it'll kind of amp up the players, the competitive players who have been on the fence of having these mixed feelings about competing for Street Fighter 5. Maybe it'll make things a little more interesting. So that's why I think overall it's a win-win situation, in my opinion. It's just because it just makes it more interesting, and people like to always see new things in order to keep things interesting, in order for them to keep competing. And if they keep competing, they have more chances of, getting some money out of it, or winning something, or just keep the spirit alive when it comes to fighting game competition for Street Fighter 5 anyway. If I had to choose, or if I had to come up with a list of Street Fighter 5 characters, now it's going to become like a top 5 characters of Street Fighter 5, of course, which they haven't even revealed anything about that when it comes to what's in there and whatever. But I think Sodom is a huge possibility. A huge number of people have been saying Sodom since he's kind of in the game already, and there's been word that he was being worked on, but at some point I think they put the can on Sodom. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Sodom is being worked on. So it's definitely a possibility. So Sodom for number 1 for right now. Number 2, let's just say Sea Viper or Crimson Viper. She's definitely in the story. Yes, I mean, but none of the models and anything like that have not been made for her. So, I mean, she is a popular character, more than enough to make it possible. And so, I would like to see Crimson Viper make it in there, at least for Season 5 anyway. And, the V, I mean, like, how can you not include her now? I just realized about the V thing. You gotta stick with the gimmicks. So the V has got to make it in there, right? So the Viper has got to make it in there. So that's character number 2. Character number 3, I know I'm being really cheesy about this, but Makoto, another third strike character. I think she's been highly requested throughout Street Fighter 5's lifetime. People have been really wanting to see her make it back in there, and certain players, they want to play her as well, and they want to see those players play Makoto, because Makoto back in Street Fighter 4, was some of the most exciting things to watch, from my eyes anyway. So Makoto would be another favorite. I think I would like to see Makoto myself. I like her overall like character and stuff, her personality and all that. Tomboy, very country girl sort of character who is very proficient in karate. I think that's correct, but anyway, from memory on top of my head. But Makoto, I think she would be cool to make it in there finally, and hopefully that would be the case for Season 5. Next one up, that would be pretty cool to see, in my opinion, would be Oro. Oro is another third strike character, and I think people have been saying, hey, third strike characters should make it in there, show some third strike love or whatever, and Oro would be a good choice. He's got that weirdness going on that would make him really interesting and unique amongst the cast. He has one arm, and he's incredibly old, and yet he is incredibly proficient at fighting. He even has like the floating rocks and stuff like that. That could be a really cool idea for either a V trigger or one of the V triggers, since there's 2, right? And then there would be in the matter of his critical art, but that's for another video maybe anyway. But point being, though, Oro would be pretty cool. I think we need to have a couple more older characters kind of making in there to represent that part of the age range anyway. So Oro would be a pretty cool character, and kind of have it where you can kind of see Oro and Dalsum, who kind of looks older this time around, yes, with the beard and all that stuff, to fight each other and stuff. Whether it's for competition or casual side of things. So either way, Oro will be pretty cool. So last character, that's a bit of a tricky one. I mean, it's really hard to say who is likely going to make it in there, but if we're really going to, try to say who is very much so likely to make it in there, the Capray in my opinion. I think the Capre has a pretty good chance, I would say, because her model is already in there. Starting from the story mode of things, the cinematic story mode, to be exact, and she made a pretty big appearance in the story, so her palette is already there, and I'm pretty damn sure they're gonna refine the palette or refine the character model, even throw in more of a heavier character redesign for her costume, whatever. Kind of like what they did for Colleen. Colleen definitely received a facial restructure of sorts. She looks completely different from her appearance within story mode. So I think the Capre will go through a similar process of that. I don't really play the Capre. I haven't really played with her in Street Fighter 4, but she really had some crazy stuff going on during 4, so I'm pretty sure there are people who would love to see that. Or love to use that in competition. So I think the Capre will be an agreeable choice as well within the 5 characters of Season 5. So I would be, I guess, okay with the Capre. There are different characters I would like to see who I like to see in Season 5, but just going off of likely for right now, plus a little bit of my personal bias, I think, yeah, so Sodom, let's see, Makoto, Sea Viper, Oro, and Decapre. So that's the 5 characters I think would more likely to appear for Season 5. So let's see how that bingo card goes. So that's just my guess anyway, and I'm not gonna guess for stages. I mean, I think people are just open for stages. To wrap up the rest of the Street Fighter 5 news, Champion Edition, there is going to be a costume contest of sorts. I guess you just pick a character within the roster, and then you can design a costume for that character of your choice. So I think that's pretty cool. There has been a little bit of controversy involving with, oh, you're doing work for Capcom and you're not being paid at all for it, and there's no prize money or anything like that. It just makes an appearance, and I guess you get some exposure or whatever. It's just a fan art contest. It's the same sort of, I guess, moral lines. I don't know. I mean, I don't really see that as a bad thing. It's just an art contest. There are plenty of art contests where there is no money involved, and coming from sort of that sort of mindset where I did art contests as a kid for various things in the past, I think, I don't know. I think the money thing isn't really necessary. Seems maybe some sort of prize other than being exposed would be nice. I'm not sure what the exact prize is, if that was stated at all within the developer blog. So I don't know. But for right now, the lack of money doesn't really seem to bother me, just because I come from that sort of situation where, yeah, art contests, you don't really get any money, but you might get something else, and then of course your art gets exposed to, I don't know, slap onto the wall, or of course they'll use that costume for Street Fighter 5, and I don't know, like having like something of yours being exposed for the rest of Street Fighter 5, that itself is really cool. So I don't know, I mean, doesn't really bother me all that much personally, I guess, but I guess if people are seeing it as like, oh, you're being paid for free it's like unpaid labor or whatever, but if that's how you feel, then I'm not gonna say that's how you should or should not feel. That's just your opinion anyway. But personally, for me, I'm not bothered by it. Sorry about that. That part went a little longer than I wanted to, but hey, I draw stuff, so that's why I kind of come from that sort of background. So that's why I guess I talked a little longer than I expected for the costume contest. I guess overall, Champion Edition has been a pretty big success. Overall positive feedbacks other than the netcode, I guess, but that's always been an ongoing issue. There's probably nothing they could do at this point to really fix the rollback netcode. I think they'll probably save that for Street Fighter 6 when it comes to like labor and stuff like that. So for right now though, this is what we got, and we just have to wait for the 5 characters to be announced. So if they're going to release all these characters at once from the beginning of the year, they'll definitely at some point announce all these characters all at once later on in the year. So we're probably not going to see that maybe until, let's say, August at the very earliest, which is, you know, during the EVO Online sort of month. So maybe within there we'll see something about Street Fighter 5. Maybe they will just do it one by one, kind of what they've done in the past. But I feel like they should just do it all at once, and we kind of see what, you know, we can expect what they're doing and stuff. Or they'll probably just trickle out all the character announcements, and then they'll release all those characters at once by the end of the end of 2020. So that way, again, you know, like I said before, they can learn the character right from the start, and hopefully that'll help them out to kind of use that character in the competitive side of things. So anyways, that's my opinion on Street Fighter 5 and the upcoming Season 5, to end it on a more poetic note. I think that's cool, again. And what are your comments? What do you guys think about Season 5? Do you think they should have added more characters, or they should go beyond Season 5? Do you guys you know, like where the roster is? Should they stick at 40 characters? Have they stuck with just 40 characters for the sake of matchups and stuff like that? Or you guys don't care about that and just want more characters for the sake of having more characters and making it more interesting? So you know, those comments related to this subject, that'll be welcome in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out all the YouTubers, including this one. So that would be much appreciated. So this has been the Hawke Talks episode featuring Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, ending on Season 5 for DLC characters and stages, and there's an art contest, and I guess, you know, Champion Edition has been a pretty good success so far. So things are definitely looking interesting. We are definitely still facing some rough times, but hey, you know, we gotta, for the sake of our sanity, just, you know, take in the good things as well that are, you know, happening in this year as well, as much as we should stay aware of the pandemic and stuff. So stay safe, stay home, follow all the professional medical advice from your local medical experts, and we'll get through this. This is a tough obstacle, but we'll definitely get over it eventually. But we gotta be really patient, and we will, you know, throw in that whiff punish and beat the shit out of this virus. So anyways, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.